such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. Want to encourage you, as always, to go to our webpage. Go to our webpage, for such a time as this .today, for such a time as this .today, not .com, not .org, .today, for such a time as this .today. There you can always find our newest material as Big Brother continues to squeeze and as these more liberal platforms continue to kick us off. Want to encourage you to go to for such a time as this .today. As always, want to now set the scene for the video today. Genesis 6:5 is just one of the many verses throughout Scripture that speaks of the reality of mankind. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. What you see a lot in culture and what you see a lot in on the news and print is this idea that man is somehow still good by nature. That is not the biblical framework, never has been. The truth and the reality is all you have to do is look at human history. Man is not basically good, man is basically evil. And so when it comes to the sins of our country, murder, theft, assault, battery, the godless, because they can't pin it on sinful human nature, they reject that idea. They have to pin it on something else. So what do they pin it on? Guns. And so now you hear terms like gun violence, as if the guns are an independent agent killing people. No, it's people killing people. And so I ran across this clip. You have the mayor of San Francisco. I'm sorry, that's wrong. You have the mayor of St. Louis, who for some reason they are holding up as a good mayor because she brought down the murder rate. And it did go down. Let me show you. You see here, in 2020, it seemed like they set records here per capita. If you see, this is per capita, right? Per 100,000 population, homicides in St. Louis, right? Look at 21. Look at 20, they had 87.2, right? 87.2, and then in 2021, it came down to 65.0, right? So you would say, wow, woo, wonderful. St. Louis cut it by 22 points. But look at this. When you go to this, the highest murder rates is still in 2021, right? This is published December 31st, 2021. You say, good, St. Louis came down, but they're still fourth in the nation. Fourth in the nation. So you go from 87 down to 64, 65, and they're heralding it as a wonderful achievement. You're still the fourth most murderous city in America. Is that something to be proud of? That's crazy. But you know what? When you have politicians who don't know what the heck they're doing, when you have politicians who have no idea how to combat evil and sin because they reject the whole concept of sin, they're clueless. If you don't believe me, if you don't believe she's clueless, listen to her.
We have to do something about the proliferation of guns in our communities, full stop. So we need gun control legislation from the federal level and the state level. Unfortunately, Missouri has a love affair with the Second Amendment and has passed so many laws relaxing gun control that everyone has access to a gun. And that doesn't make anybody safer, our law enforcement included. We had a shooting just earlier last week that injured 2 of our officers. So, we have to do something about the presence of guns in our community and make sure that they don't get into the wrong hands.
Unfortunately, they have a love affair of the Second Amendment. Unfortunately, they have a love affair of the Constitution of the United States of America. If your ideas are so wonderful, change the Constitution. It's been done before. But again, it's this idea, unfortunately, getting to the wrong hands. That's an issue of law enforcement. If you ban every gun in the United States of America by law, the criminals still have it. Get the guns out of the hands of people who should not have them. That has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. What do I mean by that? Criminals don't obey laws. So it doesn't matter what laws you pass. Criminals don't obey laws. That's what makes them criminals. They don't obey the laws you pass. Go after the criminals who shouldn't have the guns in the first place. Illegal. They have guns illegally. But and again, it's this concept that you're not dealing with sinful human beings. It's the gun control. If that didn't convince you, look at this clip. The interviewer tries her best to say, hey, every time you pass a law, in essence, the criminals ignore it. Look at New York. New York has the most stringent gun laws, but murder's on the rise. How do you handle that, Miss Mayor?
We also, when you look at New York and you compare, right, New York State has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, and New York City is still seeing such a surge in gun violence. Like, what do you do with that?
Well, again, it has to be an all-hands-on-deck strategy. We cannot police or arrest our way out of this. We have to invest our way out of this, taking a page from Lori Lightfoot's handbook. And in St. Louis, we're seeing results because we've developed that approach that it has to be the community and law enforcement. It can't be an either-or strategy. We have to stop pitting the community against law enforcement. We have to work together, and what we're doing in St. Louis is working. The community's doing their part, law enforcement is doing their part.
What we're doing in St. Louis is working. You're still the fourth city per capita in murders. But whenever a mayor references Lori Lightfoot, as a beacon of success, and it mimics what Lori Lightfoot is doing, come on, man. Come on now. You're not going to police your way out of it, then what are you going to do? We need to stop pitting our communities against the police. What does that mean? How are we pitting the communities against the police? Pitting the communities against the police. I have no idea what she's talking about. And I fear she has no idea what she's talking about either. I'm sorry, St. Louis.
You set such a time as this.